This is a picture of the largest city in the great state of Illinois. This is a picture of a longhorn. And this is the biggest planet of our solar system. Yeah, that's nice. You might be thinking to yourself, I clicked on a video about Windows. What the heck do these random pictures have to do with anything? Random pictures, you say? Or are they? You see, they all actually have one thing in common. They represent code names of certain major Windows releases in their development phase. Long before they can be found on store shelves or on our personal computers, Microsoft products are given code names. The code names are used during the process of development and are usually replaced with final names that Microsoft announces shortly before a product is publicly available. They're given to all types of products, scaling from operating systems all the way to gaming hardware. The most widely known Microsoft code names, however, are those used for major OS releases. For example, did you know that the codename for Windows 3.1 was named after Janus, the Roman god of beginnings and transitions? For whatever reason, Microsoft decided to reuse the same codename for the 64-bit version of Windows 2000. To give the story a bit more meaning, this might easily have something to do with the fact that in Roman mythology, Janus was depicted as having two faces, one looking to the future and one looking to the past. The next major release of Windows, Windows 95, was codenamed after the largest city of Illinois, Chicago. Knowing that the Windows 95 OS R2 version was codenamed Detroit, you might be asking, why these cities? Frankly, it's hard to answer without asking members of the development team from the time. But a writer from Maximum PC suggested that Detroit and other Windows 95 era names were taken from answers to the question posed by Microsoft's "Where do you want to go today?" marketing campaign. Windows 95 was intended to have another update codenamed Nashville. The update was eventually cancelled and was sometimes referred to as Windows 96. The next major version of the OS was Windows 98, that was also codenamed after an American city, this time Memphis. 98 was also preliminarily called Windows 97 based on an earlier production schedule. As mentioned earlier in the video, the 64-bit version of Windows 2000 was codenamed Janus, but the original Windows 2000 actually didn't have a codename. Reason? Well, according to Dave Thompson of the Windows NT team, former Microsoft executive Jim Allchin didn't like codenames, so 2000 originally didn't get one. Next in line is a version of Windows that many people and critics call one of the biggest failures, if not the biggest failure in the history of Windows. Windows ME. The ME stands for Millennium, which was the official codename for the OS during its development. It became publicly available around the turn of the millennium, so it's not that hard to imagine why Microsoft went for it. Here's another fun fact. Microsoft planned a consumer version of Windows 2000, which was codenamed Neptune. There was also a plan for a successor to Windows 2000 for business customers, which was codenamed Odyssey. The two projects were eventually dropped as individual operating systems and were merged to form a project under the codename Whistler, which would eventually end up as the legendary Windows XP. The codename was taken from Whistler, British Columbia, as many Microsoft employees skied at Whistler Blackcomb, a ski resort which would continue to influence Windows codenames in the future. For example, Longhorn, codename for Windows Vista, which was named after the Longhorn Bar in the Whistler Blackcomb Resort. But it doesn't stop there. So we've got Whistler from Whistler, BC, and we've got Longhorn from a bar in Whistler, BC. Finally, we get the codename Blackcomb for the critically acclaimed Windows 7. Eventually, Blackcomb was changed to Vienna after the capital of Austria. The next major version of Windows would be Windows 8, which was codenamed Jupiter, which was followed by the 8.1 update codenamed Blue. Finally, we get to the current Windows 10, which was codenamed Threshold after a location in the popular game Halo Combat Evolved. Prior to the release of Windows 10, it was reported in April of 2015 that two major updates were to be released in 2016 as part of a release series codenamed Redstone after a mineral from the popular game Minecraft. It would be interesting to speculate on how Microsoft will be naming future major releases of the Windows operating system. But the biggest question now is, will there even be any major releases to name, as new information suggests that Windows 10 will be the last version of Windows? Does that mean the end of the OS? Not necessarily. To paraphrase Forbes, it does however mean that Microsoft will change the way they brand, develop, update, and expect us to pay for Windows after Windows 10. In other words, many assume that the future will simply be Windows. No version number, no year, just Windows. If that be the case, or not, Codenames will most certainly still be around for us tech junkies to overanalyze. Thanks for watching, people. This is Channel Hot Monkey signing off.